Okay, everybody. I'm going to take a deep breath. I want to try and get all of this in one go because we're getting ready for Chrono Trigger Jets of Time, Boss Rando, Gear Rando, Tech Damage Rando. Yeah, all of that in one run with one free Fitz. Fitz, what all are we about to get ourselves into here?
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna see a lot of random stuff. We're also, thanks to the donations, we're gonna see more frogs in the pool than ordinarily would be with our duplicate characters. Yeah, I am Fitz. I'll be on the A's and the B's, so to speak. Here, I'm gonna throw it to my commentators to kind of talk a little bit more about what all of the randomized things we listed there mean and what they mean for me, the player.
Yes, good evening. My name is Lord Bassy, and I am joined on comms by Acid Crab. And this
Hello.
is Chrono Trigger Jets of Time, which is a Chrono Trigger randomizer. One free Fitz is going to be playing. So this is, if you've never seen Jets of Time before, what this is an open world Chrono Trigger randomizer. Open world meaning that you start with your winged epic, your winged time machine. We're going to have access to 2 time periods to start, which is 1,000 and 600, and we're going to be collecting characters and key items to get one of 3 different endings. And that's very exciting. Let's see. We've got a lot of different flags on tonight. Let's see. We got Boss Rando on. We've got Gear Rando on, so that means that the equipment can roll some different stats than normal. We've got Tech Damage Rando. And we also have met a duplicate characters incentive, so we're gonna have extra frogs in this seed. It's a frog party. Everybody hype for frog party.
Yeah, everyone was so generous in raising over $130 for Blue Path in the name of duplicating a character. And yes, Frog came out the victor.
We left the guy. He's our buddy. He's our buddy forever.
Yes, Frog is one of my favorite characters. I'm Acid Crab. Thanks for coming tonight, everybody. And this should be a good time. I'm excited to see how long it takes us to find all the frogs.
Yes, excited to go on the frog scavenger hunt. Let's see. Did we talk about Tech Damage Rando? That's sort of one of our newer flags that we're going to be playing with tonight. Looks like we're starting here too. Oh, there's a Megas Frog. Oh yeah, so we've got complete character rando on. So we've got a Robo in the starting party who I'm not actually sure off the top of my head which Robo that is. Luca has also turned into Robo. This opening cutscene you can peek Luca. So all of the characters can be, Shrug, whoever, although some of them are guaranteed to be Frog. The yellow eyes suggest that is probably Ayla. Fitz, of course, mashed through the naming screen pretty quickly, but we'll see in a second.
So we're going to be checking a few places at the start here. There's kind of a general beginning we use for different categories. Involves grabbing different amounts of chests, peeking characters to see if we need to come back and unlock them later. And I believe that is what we're going to see Fitz do here at the start.
Yep. So at the start of any Jets of Time seed, generally the epic will drop you off there in the year 600. All right, this is the Luca Robo. You can tell by the purple eyes, actually. Character Rando, what it does to help you recognize which character slot someone is in is it gives that character their palette. So for example, this Robo Ayla in the party is using Ayla's palette colors. Robo and Frog are actually the hardest characters to kind of figure out because everybody else, if you look at their hair color, generally you can tell who's who. Robo, if you look at his eyes, that's the hair color. And likewise, if a humanoid turns into Robo, they're gonna have the like minty green hair like Robo's eyes.
So we're going to be doing some starting shopping. We're going to be checking a couple key items that are available without any fights, and seeing if any of that changes how we're going to start this run here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fitz is gonna be running around doing some shopping. You gotta get your groceries. Now I know Fitz likes to buy the snail stop item, so he's gonna walk away with that. So the snail stop check costs 9,900 gold, which is about half of what you start with in a standard seed. And some players like to just peek it and then come back if they need it. Some players like to make sure they save enough money to buy it right off the top so that they don't have to ever come back to snail stop. So Fitz went ahead and acquired that clone, which is part of the Death Peak Go mode. And now he's popped over to check the Lazy Carpenter check. And these are the two really quick key item checks at the beginning of this game.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, okay.
So go ahead and tell us. Yeah, so we found the Crisis Mune. So that is a couple things. That is the Grand Leon, which is, in Jets of Time, it is the strongest sword for Frog. But it has also rolled the effect of the Crisis Arm that Robo typically has, which is the one that scales your damage based, or your physical damage based off of the last digit of your HP value. Now, it's kind of tough, honestly, to get that useful on Frog early, in my experience. Now, that may be different when there's 3 different Frogs, and I don't know how stats work with duplicate characters. So it may... We'll have to see if it makes a difference, because...
I think that they will still have Frog's stats. So I think there's going to be a point in the seed where Frog has good numbers at the end of his HP to use that crisis effect. In my experience, it tends to kind of peak in the late 20s and go away in the early 30s, which isn't always great because you often want to be about level 30 to finish the game. Different Go modes do have different requirements, so we'll see. But Frogs is one that's hard to manipulate.
Even though it's not a perfect stat weapon, you know, it's not as great as if we had found a Doom Blade or a Rainbow Blade or something like that. It's still a key item that we need to find. It unlocks a crucial section, which is the Northern Ruins that we have... wait, is this... I'm sorry, is this one Chrono Sanity?
I don't think we're playing Chrono Sanity.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I just wanted to double check. So actually, we probably won't use that other than it as a weapon.
Yeah, that -3 on it could be tough. It really depends because, you know, we still got our just starting 2 characters here. Fitz is probably going to pop into somewhere to do some leveling up soon. But
Magic +4 is kind of nice, though.
That actually, yeah, that is surprising on a -3. But that could be really good. With this seed requiring a lot of frogs, and Frog has a really, I mean, Frog does not have the best pool of double techs by any means, but he does have some good ones, you know, double and triple techs. So we're gonna see how this party shakes out, and then, you know, how we can build damage based on all of that. But yeah, Fitz is gonna take some fights here, and based on these 2 fights and tech point doubling, which is a small bug in the game that we take advantage of, which is if a character learns one of their techniques off of a battle, they then gain the tech points again, and the next battle is going to trigger that. So we're going to see these characters learn a couple of moves, and that's going to tell us what we have to start out with.
Yeah, and that can make a big difference for how long it's going to take us to fight some Nagaets here in a minute. Because there's a big difference between if we get water 2 or if we have to do it the old-fashioned way.
Indeed. And we do have tech damage rando on as well, which can really spice things up. Okay,
Yeah, can you give a real quick rundown on how that shuffles and what effect it has on the techs?
Yeah. So what the tech damage rando does is what it shuffles is the tech's power based on their MP cost. So everyone's MP costs. So okay, we've got like a 15 shock. That's a little more powerful than normal because I believe shock is normally 12. It might be 15. Uzi punch, maybe Uzi punch is the one that's 15. But for example, if our shock only cost 4 MP, what that tells us is it's not a very powerful shock. But something that rolls 20 MP, which is the highest cost of any tech, that's going to be your huge damage. But that 20 MP, that could roll on any tech. That could roll on frickin' Slurp Cut for Frog, for all we know, which isn't going to go into anything useful. It really shakes the game up in a fun way.
Can I quickly talk about something that also might shake the run up in a fun way?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So there is an open milestone for this run, y'all.
Yes.
If we are able to raise $2,000 for Blue Path service dogs by the end of the run, we're going to go on a little journey to Ozzy's Fort. So if we are able to reach $2,000 by the end of the run, onefreefitz is going to go out of their way to show off Ozzy's Fort, which is, yes, a joke dungeon that ends with an extra boss fight against Ozzy, Flea, and Slash.
Yep.
We have this entire run, which, seeing how it started, 2 hours, who knows how long we might have to actually reach that. We're less than $250 away from hitting it, though, and we have this entire run to do it. So I believe that we can hit that incentive, and we can all go pay Ozzy a visit.
Yeah, let's
I love
put
that
him
dungeon.
in a pickle, guys. Help us put Ozzy in a pickle.
I love that dungeon.
All right. Yeah, hype for Ozzy's Fort. And character number 3, most players are going to come to Cathedral right here, pick up their third character at the front, is Robo, who is also Frog. So the important thing about this character being Robo is that Robo does have a gated check. With Robo in your party, or whichever character stands for Robo, you can complete the Sunken Desert. So that is now on the table.
While we're still going, I do want to let everyone know that we are running a sweepstakes this week. So by donating, you are automatically entered in our sweepstakes for the chance to win a stream key for one of the amazing games featured during Multithon. Ricky and Vicky, UFO 50, Just Crow Things, Neva, and our sponsor game, Beastie Ball. If you're interested in learning more about the sweepstakes, you can find out more information in the Multithon Discord. But again, just by donating, you are automatically entered in to win a chance at a stream key for any one of those amazing games that you'll be seeing or have seen throughout the week.
Excellent. Yeah, everybody get your donations in for that and all of the other great incentives.
We are heading into this bromide room fight and having to kind of do it the old-fashioned way, a little bit too expensive to use that shock on that Robo.
Indeed. Yes, that's one of the things about some of these early fights, is if you want to be able to wipe them with the MP that they can require, you might route, for example, a full heal into your opening loop. You know, most players kind of have their own opening loop. It's different for everyone. It's very fun to watch. So that, like, if you have a character like Chrono or Robo with low MP, you can fill it back up.
More bats, more frogs.
That's right.
This is another one of the fights where you kind of hope to have an AoE going into most of the back of Cathedral here, because otherwise you have to hit each one of these targets kind of one at a time. It can be way faster using that ether and being able to...
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, as we can see, Fitz has made the call to go through the back of Cathedral. Some people will stop after the front. Usually we'll pick up the Naga at Bromide, since in Jetson has extra tabs in it, including a speed tab, which you pretty much always want. But if you complete the back of the Cathedral as well, you'll save the Queen, and you can pick up another character out of Guardia Castle.
Every time I skip Cathedral, it feels like I shouldn't have skipped Cathedral.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things you have to sometimes just have to guess at the right timing. Got a little bit of a glitch with the Robo Frog, but I think he's gonna be okay here. Yeah, cool.
Great amount of tabs so far.
Yeah, fantastic. It's an awful year for the start of the game overall either. He's definitely going to want better before going towards the final boss, but that's ages off.
Frog is not slow, but he's not fast.
That is true. Frog is pretty much the average speed character.
Frog moves at exactly the speed it wants to.
Yeah, that's right.
So will we have any trouble here?
Yes, the Chancellor is going to turn into our first boss, which would normally be Yakra, but with Boss Rando on, it could be... Well, look, it's Yakra the 13th, so it's close to vanilla, but not quite. That shouldn't be too much trouble, because luckily, back of Cathedral, this is the weakest boss spot. Barring really unfortunate circumstances, generally you can get through a boss. And unfortunate circumstances would include only having a party that can only do decent magic damage and a boss that you need to hit with physical, for example, or vice versa. But luckily this one is not one of those. It does have a death counter, but it probably won't hit very hard.
I also recently ran into, I had a low speed team and Son of Sun. And that was fun.
Yeah, that's rough.
But you do what you can. I think we'll make it through, and we just gotta finish him off. He doesn't have that much HP in this spot.
No, the spot's about 920. Robo misses. There's one of the unfortunate things about Robo is his hit stat isn't very good, especially at low levels. Robo, come on, man.
Frogs isn't always good either. Luckily, later we hope to have dual techs, because then you don't have to worry about the hit stat.
For sure.
When you're using dual techs, but...
And yeah, see, Fitz is making a good call here by using Rocket Punch instead of Shock, because they're doing about the same amount of damage, but Rocket Punch is costing, less than a third of the MP. It's a 4 MP Rocket Punch, and that's gotta be a little higher than normal. I think it's just 1 or 2. It's one of Robo's early ones.
A Doomfinger drop.
Doomfinger
As we learn another frog squash.
But yes, as Phone in Chat has pointed out, Shock wouldn't miss. And that's the trade-off sometimes. Magical techs almost never miss. And when you get to the point in the game where you can be using multi-techs, those don't miss either, and that's part of why they're so valuable.
We're gonna run up and see who this other character is. In case it's somebody that could open a key item check, or...
Indeed. Or even just bring a little more power to the party. Oh, we've had
Or another frog.
A pink frog. The light colors make me think it's marl. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, that looks like Marl.
that is a very like pleasantly pastel frog. I'm really feeling those colors. Marl can be useful. She does open up a check as well. The prism shard check is what she opens. We haven't seen the prism shard yet,
Ooh.
but we might.
Leap slash.
How much was it costing? Did we see? I'm sure we'll see again. Leap slash is a big one. That goes into
15.
15. Ooh, that's a strong leap slash. Yeah. I think leap slash is normally like 6 or 8 or something.
Get that frog a good HP value and that Grand Leon, please. For the Crisis Blade.
Yeah, indeed. Leap slash is great. Leap slash goes into a lot of frogs' stronger attacks, double attacks.
Setting up bridge to check this out.
Ah, yes. Take a Fitz meant to come here at the start and didn't. We all forget sometimes. But to set up the Xenon Bridge check, you gotta talk to the Knight Captain at the bridge. And that's what will trigger the Guardia Kitchen to go into a frenzy, as you'll see here.
Ooh, free shelter. Hopefully we don't get too bad of a boss here, but we should be able to get through the bridge fights themselves pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
what?
And, hey, look,
Prism
the
shard. Sure would be nice. Like, that would be a line of items and characters that I would feel very proud to follow if it paid off.
For sure. No,
So
and
I'm
this
just
works
hoping.
out. You know, some people would duck out of Cathedral, just depending on different circumstances, and thus wouldn't have gotten the Marl Frog. And then if you'd gone into the Xenon Bridge check, you know, if some players, if they don't like the item they see, will reset out. So without a Marl, you know, a player might reset out of that Prism Shard and not finish this, and I mean, who knows, there could be good stuff behind there, and we won't know until we try, but that's the kind of thing that happens with routing, so it's one of the things you gotta think about.
This bridge looks scarier than it actually is. You actually just need to teach Ozzy how to count to 3 each fight. Hit him with 3 attacks, and then it'll take care of itself if you don't have an AoE to just one-shot it.
Yeah. And remember, this is an early appearance of Ozzy. We might see him later if we get Magus' Castle Go mode, but we'll definitely see him later if we get that Ozzy's Fort incentive. I mean, you want to throw this guy in a hole? Because I kind of want to throw him in a hole.
I love throwing this guy.
We have less than $250 to go to hit that $2,000 milestone to visit Ozzy's Fortress and throw Ozzy in a hole.
Yeah, it's amazing, guys. You don't want to miss this.
You don't have as much time as you might think. This run is going really well. So this is all going to a phenomenal cause too. Blue Path service dogs are committed to the success of each of their placements. They remain closely connected to all families via email and phone, answering the normal questions that arise when learning to navigate life with a service dog. They also provide ongoing lifetime follow-up and additional training as needed. So not only are you helping us add a visit to Ozzy's Fort to Multithon, you're also helping an incredible cause and helping bring a whole bunch of necessary care and support into the lives of people that need it and might not get it otherwise.
Yes, excellent cause. and with excellent entertainment to go with it. Let's get those donations in.
Here we find Super Slash, where Zombor would normally be. Are you usually happy to see Super Slash early in a seed, Batsy, in your opinion?
It would depend on the seed, but I am certainly happier to see Super Slash than I am regular Flavor Slash, because Super Slash actually has worse defense against magic and status effects and all kinds of stuff.
It seems like our team's biggest boss right now is their accuracy.
Oh,
Frog
bad.
and Robo are letting us down. But this other frog is putting in work. I think with that better sword.
Yeah, absolutely. Those leaf slashes are hitting nicely.
Stock up, see if there's anything else for sale. I'm sure Fitz is going to be watching for reasonably priced frog swords.
With all these frogs, he's gonna want another one probably, even with the ultimate one already in inventory. Okay, so we're gonna trade our sexy monster girl for some pills.
As one does.
We've got a few places that are kind of open right now that are kind of interesting to go to. There's several different kind of early game dungeons we have access to between Hecarim Cave, Desert, and Prism Shard.
Yeah.
And then, and also Dinodoro. But it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of paths to go, and we're getting better and better gear as we go along.
Yeah, there really are a lot of checks open, and it's interesting because we haven't seen any of the items that'll jump us to other time periods yet, which is what we're going to need for, like, go modes and things like that. But most of the checks that would be available in these two time periods are now open.
So we're at least going to drop into Desert for the grind, I assume, and for some of this loot. I don't know if we're here to fight the boss or not, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I could really see either way.
Yeah, we do have the Robo Frog sitting in reserve right now, but that just means the check can be completed and we can pick up a key item.
But even if we don't fight the boss, if we just come in here and grab a couple of these fights, it makes every other check safer after. This is something that I've been practicing quite a bit lately in some of my runs. And so I like it because it just gives you a good amount of tech points and XP. And then if you do roll a bad boss in a spot early on, you might still be able to power through it and keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that the desert is probably the better spot for XP, and Hecarim Cave is better for TP if you want your techs. Which that said, the desert does give like okay tech points. It's not like garbage, it's average. So if you need both levels of tech points, this can be a good call.
Yeah, and it also depends what tools you have. Like, you can kind of go through Hecarim with any AoE you have, whereas there's some AoEs that would still leave me a little worried to come here. But most of them, I think, would get you through Desert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the enemies in Desert are weak to water, so if you've got Ice 2, Water 2 on anybody, then that'll do it. this Robo's powered up shock seems like it's doing okay. Robo isn't a very magical character, but that said, I'm sure that like Flare and Dark Matter on Luca, Inner Normal Seed, Luca and Magus, those would do it. Luminaire is like borderline, but it might do it.
Yeah. I wonder about like Magus's Lightning 2 or Fire 2. I don't know if they would clear.
I don't think that his Lightning or Fire 2 would clear, especially since he casts them weaker, but I'm sure his Ice 2 would do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, Fitz did pick up another frog weapon down here, which is obviously a good thing.
We are
Really,
going to need
yeah.
frog weapons.
We're going to need them. Flashblade's nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty good as far as frog's weapons go. I'm really like vibing with this pastel marl frog. I really like the colors.
All right, looks like we are going back in for that boss.
Yep. Fitz grabbed the treasure and then ran out to save, which, you know, you never know what's going to be in this room, so that's
The
not
swag
bad at
chest.
all. Yep. Alright, it's Hecarim. Hecarim is one of those bosses that you need a certain type of damage to get through, in this case that being magical damage. So this shock on Robo will not go amiss.
Yeah, we have one of that. We'll be okay. Everyone else becomes an apothecary.
Completely valid strategy, you know. Ether, ether, big spell. Ether, ether, big spell.
I sure would be happy to see Hecarim this early, though, with almost any other combination of techs.
Yeah, and Hecarim here is going to have about... Oh, it's around 4,000 HP for this spot. So it's a little tanky for early game if you don't have a good source of damage. Luckily, shock is gonna do it pretty well.
Ooh, we do see a sleepy frog.
Hecarim does hit pretty hard with his magic.
It's gonna be an expensive fight in ethers. Like, we're gonna have to probably restock earlier because this is gonna cost a lot of ethers to get through this. But I think you're right. I think it's generally safe.
Yeah, at least the ethers are... Okay, so now Hecarim is in his counterattack stance, meaning he will do something really terrible if you hit him, but also meaning that if you mind your own business, he won't do anything to you. So this is absolutely the time to heal up if Hecarim's giving you a hard time. Alright,
Yeah.
we got the message, brief counterattack break. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that's also nice because it makes sure we can get the XP and tech points on all these characters hopefully now. Whereas if we had been able to nuke him down right before that, we probably wouldn't have taken the time to revive. So that's nice that we get those 40 tech points are saved.
Yeah, for sure. That can be really clutch in this randomizer. It definitely depends on the seed because some seeds, angry mage frog has saved the desert with an attitude. You know, depending on the seed, you're going to be cutting it pretty close in terms of your levels and your strengths with your final boss. Unless it's one of those seeds that makes you do, you know, all but 2 checks. So having all of your characters up for every battle, or at least boss fight, so that they don't miss out on that, can be really clutch.
Do not adjust your monitor. There's supposed to be 3 frogs.
Indeed. That was the incentive that everyone donated for a frog to be duplicated. So we just got the free frog moment. That was pretty great. And actually now we're gonna have 3 frogs and a robot. So they're gonna pull down the.
I would watch at least season 1 of 3 Frogs and a Robot.
Yeah,
If it was
same.
on like Netflix or something.
Oh, I would buy the box set.
Yeah. Buy it on Laserdisc. Ooh, a Dreamstone.
Okay.
That
So
could be
that's-
pretty nice.
Yeah, Dreamstone's one of our Go Mode items. This might be a good time to talk about Go Mode, actually, because I think we haven't.
Yeah, and we have 1 piece of each
That's true.
now.
We do.
Yeah, so I'll go over the first Go Mode. So one of the possible Go Modes is to end up going to the future with the pendant, and then having the clone and chrono trigger to go through Death's Peak, and then the Black Omen to fight Zeal. The other Go Mode would be going through Lavos, and there's a couple paths to get there. What are the main ways you would get to Lavos?
So the 2 ways to get to Lavos are either via a Chrono Go mode, which is going to take you into prehistory with the gate key, and then with the ruby knife and dreamstone, you can open up the Chrono Lair and the Doranzeal Palace, and so you'll go through prehistory and then into antiquity and fight Lavos there. And you can also go to Magus's castle, which will lead you to 12,000 BC antiquity once you're through it, and then from there they're the same. You go through the Ocean Palace to fight Lavos. And so, yeah, we've seen a couple Go Mode pieces.
Yeah, and it is in this rando, typically when you find a Go Mode, that tends to be the one you go towards, unless you need to do a little extra grinding or a little extra setup. But you don't, outside of some situations, you don't tend to go looking for a second Go Mode if you found something. But we'll see what we end up finding throughout this, because we've got quite a few dungeons still available between Denadoro and Hecarim Cave. We're checking Prism Shard here.
Yep.
And we are dedicated to doing the trial here, so we want the XP. There's quite a bit of chests downstairs that can be pretty good loot. So we're just going to run right into it and run right in and see what we get.
Yep. As we can see, actually, Fitz has. You have 2 choices in Jets of Time. Fog climbing, and this is gonna be great. Father! I'm sorry. That's right.
This takes place after the ending where Frog marries the queen in 600 AD.
Yeah, that's right. We're in that timeline now. With the Prism Shard quest, in the randomizer, one of our actually newer features, that looks like Mother Brain. One of the newer features is you can either go downstairs and grab the item off the rainbow shell first, and that way you'll know what it is. Once you grab the item, though, you're locked in. You have to come upstairs and fight the boss. Or if you're positive you're taking the item, you can just skip that, run upstairs, fight the boss, and then get the item afterwards.
I like Nate in chat says he's hoping it's Hero's Medal and that the frogs will have to fight over who gets it.
Yeah,
the Hero's Medal is a very powerful accessory for only Frog, but luckily our team is mostly Frog. Leap Slash is a really nice find here, because it's just single target damage will get you through a lot of bosses. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
yeah, Mother Brain here, she has her 3 display screens, and if you kill all of them, she goes berserk and starts spamming a really, really, really powerful magic attack. It's really the kind of thing that should not be done unless you are sure you're almost done. It's dangerous. So, as you can see, Fitz has taken out 2 of the displays. 1 is left curing Mother Brain a little bit, and then he's using his single target techs to chip her HP down.
While we're working on this boss fight, I want to let everyone know that we are less than $240 away from visiting Ozzy's Fortress. Thanks in part to generous donations like $5 from Clinkit. Thank you so much for helping us raise money for Blue Path service dogs, but also getting closer and closer to that $2,000 milestone. And again, if we hit that milestone by the end of the run, we're going to go out of our way to show off Ozzy's fort and an extra boss fight between Ozzy, Flea, and Slash. It's something you're definitely going to want to see, and we will be able to see it if we are at $2,000 raised for Blue Pass service dogs by the end of this Chrono Trigger Jets of Time run.
Ozzy deserves it.
Yeah, come on, we can do it.
Mother Brain is finished off in this trial sequence, and now Frog is dancing, and now we'll go get all those items.
And in addition, Melchior will come in at this point. One of the key item checks you can do in this game is the Moonstone. It's, I don't think anybody's really that happy when they have to do Moonstone, because you need to get through the Prism Shard so that Melchior comes into the basement. And you also need access to both prehistory and the future so that you can charge the stone into a sunstone.
Mermaid cap is a nice find.
Yeah, that's...
Sorry.
No worries. The treasure down here is fantastic.
A little bit of water protection is something that a Black Omen Go mode really likes. Oh, it was jerky. Oh. Everyone loves the jerky. It gives you a piece of high tier loot, but not a key item. So...
It can be very nice, but it is basically a dead check. But we'll see. Hopefully we'll turn it in and it'll be something nice. The frogs hopping in unison is so funny. I love like all of these early game dungeons though. We're kind of been seeing a lot of kind of the middle ones so far. We still have some of those early access dungeons available through Hecarim's Cave and through Dinodoro Mountain. We're gonna turn in that jerky and see if we can get rewarded with something great. Yes. In Jets, we've taken out the option to sell it to her, which there would be no reason to do in this version. You know, so you can't accidentally press that. That's nice. Stocking up on some more groceries.
That was that expensive fight earlier with the shocks. Gotta restock on ethers.
Yeah. What's nice is that the ethers, looks like, since the healing items are also randomized, the ethers are doing more than average, because, gosh, it always seems like when you're playing, the ethers have rolled, you know, 7 instead of the usual 10, and that's difficult to deal with, but anytime they're more than 10, it's very nice.
Question. This is a question that was raised in chat, by the way. What do you think the legendary jerky tastes like?
Jerky?
Yes.
Well, so does the chef give you jerky too?
Yeah.
In vanilla?
Yeah.
And it feeds an army.
That's true.
Like enough for them to go fight more.
So this is like Lembas jerky. Like,
Yeah, I'm picturing what's the stuff in the Greek stories you drink.
Ambrosia.
Ambrosia. Yeah,
Ooh.
I'm just picturing it's food ambrosia.
Well, I will say that if you donate to Blue Pass Service Dogs and put in your comment what you think the legendary jerky tastes like, I will be more than happy to share those with the world. Do also want to give a shout out to a $25 donation from Derek GNC. It says, "We love doggos, we love speedrunning, we love Chrono, but you're still hungry."
We are still hungry. Make us hungrier and send in those jerky flavors.
And again, as you send in your jerky flavors, all of these donations will be helping us reach that $2,000 milestone to add Ozzy's Fortress on at the end of this run. I want to know what your jerky flavors think. What you think this jerky tastes like?
Ooh, I mean, how old is it again? Maybe it just tastes like shoes.
Oh, it could be shoes. You're probably right. It is shoes. Fitz brought up a good point. You do get jerky from the snail stop. It could be snail.
It could be snail. And we've got this one right out the rainbow shell. So, I mean, at least this is prime snail.
Betsy, I got a wild question for you. Outside of the rainbow shell, have you ever fought a snail in Chrono Trigger?
I don't think so.
That's because the snail stop guy got them all.
I guess he did. He stopped every snail. Speed tab here on the left. Don't miss it.
Oh, speed tabs are gold.
Ooh. A lot of the final bosses are very fast. Ooh, that is a Gold Rock Plus. That is potentially really cool. The colored rocks, which in the original game are equipped on characters in order to enable triple texts that don't involve Chrono, because normally they all involve Chrono. In Gear Rando, they can have extra effects on them. In this case, it's got barrier on it, which could be useful. It's not like the best compared to, say, speed +2 or whatever. But it can be used by the entire party because Gold Rock is Frog, Robo, and Marl. And we've got Frog and Robo.
We make it to the top of Dinodoro and fight Massa and Mune.
Almost 1,000 damage. They have 1,000 apiece, and you only need to defeat one, and everything that you do to them will be counterattacked. So this was pretty good, but ideally you want to be able to just hit one or both for more than 1,000 and not sit through the animations. Okay, this is Nizbel, and the good thing is we've got Shock.
Yes, and that is a very good thing. The other good thing is that this is Nizbal and not Nizbal 2.
Yes, Nizbel 1 is a little less dangerous, and the method for bringing his defense down with lightning is a little simpler, so following it up with a bunch of leap slashes will work well.
Yeah, this is a pretty good team for this fight.
Yep,
We're seeing leap slashes in stereo.
That is a great leap flash. The one drawback to shocking Nizbel, which didn't matter because we were doing such great damage with those leap slashes, is that if you do shock him with lightning, eventually he will release the lightning energy back at you, which it can hurt. It depends on your armor, and then that resets his defense. But then you can just do it again. The sword piece is going to come down and turn into a key item. It's the ruby knife.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so that's the second piece of Tyranno Lair Go mode, but what we don't have is the gate key to get into prehistory in the first place.
Tell me in chat, where is the gate key? I won't tell Fitz.
Yeah, that's right. Don't make us curse him. You guys do it.
We're starting to make it through some of these checks where we're gonna be more limited on our options going forward.
Ooh, wow. That Tabin suit +1 is the kind of thing that you dream of finding on the jerky, but we don't even know if there are any Lucas in this seed. That's her ultimate armor, and normally it gives her like +3 speed and a bunch of magic defense. With a +1 on it, I can't imagine it's anything bad.
These checks are starting to get limited, and you know what else is being limited? The amount of time we have until we need to hit that $2,000 milestone to add Ozzy's Fort to the run, y'all. Fitz is smoothing, and that is an incentive we would like to get by the end of this run, but I know we can. We have just over $200 to go until we hit $2,000 for Blue Pass service dogs, and go to visit Ozzy's Fortress. Get to see that. Have a nice little fun. Throw Ozzy in a hole, apparently, which apparently is a good thing. I want to see it, y'all.
It's great, yeah.
Yeah.
Fitz
You
is
already
moving fast,
know.
and we do have only this run to do it, so any donation you have will help us reach that incentive.
And yeah, as Chad is kind of talking about, I think that this is the last check that's open right now, which does mean, if that's true, that does mean it is the gate key or the pendant. Gate key sends us into the past and would give us go mode. Pendant would be future.
Yeah, and since all Jets of Time seeds are fully completable, we know that this will unlock something that will then give us access to everything else. So it just is a matter of, will it be that gate key that gives us a clear direction and a clear end? Or will it be something like Pendant or another, like a fetch quest item or something like that?
We could still get sent on a wild goose chase. Time travel is fickle. It doesn't always take the same amount of time.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that is true. As chat points out, it could be the hero medal, which would open up another check. It could be like Toma's Pop, which would open up another check, but this has to lead to gate key or pendant. We got a wild frog chase. Are you watching the party move across the screen? It's there. Ah, here's normal slash.
We should be alright for normal slash here.
HP in Hecarim Cave is pretty low, 2,100. That was already like 16 or something.
And Robo knows how to hit now. With those early game levels make a huge difference for him.
How long until we get to test drive that 15 MP blade toss? Oh, hopefully not that long. So I'll keep our fingers crossed for getting more techs. the frog characters are capped on their text right now because they haven't gone to see Specchio at the end of time to unlock magic.
Well, there's our pendant.
Robo doesn't need it. Robo will learn all of his text without going to the end of time.
Oh,
Petting the
we
cat
got to pet a
again.
cat.
Yeah, he actually did pet the cat near the beginning too. So this is not the first cat pet, but you know, all the top runners make sure to pet the cat like 4 times. So you should pet the cat too.
Another pet on the way out. So pendant, of course, is going to give us access to the prison sequence that will give us access to the future. There's quite a few checks in the future. There's 3 key item checks and a character recruitment there. So I'm trying to think I think we have everybody that it could be like required for progression at this point. Is that right? Because we have a frog that's a Marl. We have a frog that's a Robo, right?
Robo. Yeah, we don't have Frog himself. I think that's what we don't have, but that would only be necessary for Magus's Castle Go mode.
Oh, okay.
Of course, yeah. But we do have the others, and Fitz has done Prism Shard and Desert already, so we've
Oh yeah,
covered those bases.
yeah, you're right. You're gonna run to the future and see what it might have for us.
Yep.
And then it's always an interesting decision when you get to the future. Do you want to look for the gate key to get access to the end of time in Specchio? Or do you just want to run through Factory so that you can start learning techs while you're looking for gate key?
Yep, Factory will open it up as well through Protodome.
So Fitz will have a couple choices there. These are some tight skips through here that are so satisfying when you nail them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the trick with the shields is if you can look at your character's shadow, no matter which character you're using, that shadow's the same. It's a good way to like line up the straight through.
What boss are we going to see where Dragon Tank usually lives?
Oh,
Because
goodness.
it may not be Dragon Tank.
Yeah, hopefully not like a... Maybe I shouldn't say it. Say hopefully not a mute or something like that. All right.
What I really don't like seeing is I don't like seeing Mud Imp.
All right, Fitz has come into the cell and freed Fritz, which is of course his ancestor, preventing a horrible time crash. So like, you're welcome.
The least we could do is take Ozzy down, who had, I'm sure, some hand in this.
Yeah, probably.
As a reminder, we do have, if we want to say hi to Ozzy at the end of this run, we do have that $2,000 milestone that we have to meet by the end of this run. Crab, how much run do you think there is left for us to hit that milestone?
You know, it's really hard to say because with Fitz going to future, it could be as quick as like another maybe half hour, 45 minutes to grab a quick go mode and finish, or we could be in for chasing a bunch more items down. So it's hard to say, but it could be pretty soon.
Yeah, I agree. We could be 1 key item check from a go mode, or we could be 4 or 5 key item checks from a go mode. I think we've got a good chance at a quick one, at future holding something that we need.
My worry, is we haven't seen either of the sword pieces. So one piece of that go mode is a character, so we don't have to worry about like frog coming from a check for Magus's Castle Go mode, but we haven't seen those sword pieces. We haven't seen like Thomas Pop, which would open Giant's Claw. You know, and there's still only 3 checks in the future. Although opening End of Time would open Mount Woe, so that leaves us with another potential check. But there's still a lot out there, so it could go either way.
We now have 2 dual techs that are both Cure Wave. This is great news.
We're going to be very safe.
We're gonna be so cured. We're running into Flea here, or Flea Plus. I don't think we're in too much danger here. Hitting so hard, yeah, that fight is cleared.
Yep, Flea can be really scary if you can't hit very hard, because once Flea gets to 50% HP, he's got a really, really nasty counterattack that will hit the whole party, although with one caveat. And so if you're not hitting him pretty hard through that counterattack phase, you can get pretty badly beat up. But if you have a dead character in your party, if you leave one person unconscious, Flea won't use that move, and it becomes pretty safe. There's also only a 50% chance of the counterattack activating, so you can absolutely hit the save point and just cross your fingers.
Another benefit of the future, going to the future, is we get the early charged pendant,
Yes.
which lets us grab all the stuff in these secret doors, as well as all the sealed chests that we may come across. Probably won't go super out of our way for a lot of them, depending on what Fitz needs and what gear he's looking for. But as far as the future goes, all this stuff is right here. It's super worth checking.
Yep, and once he does this, I'm guessing he might go over to Protodome to check the character. This party isn't packing a lot of power. It's doing okay, but I think most people would be wanting a little more. Here we are. Gotta take this one fight in Protodome and then sneak past the next one, and there will be a character up there. And it's Magus. It's a Chrono Magus. That's Chrono's character slot.
He looks like an X-Men.
He does.
I don't know which X-Men he looks like, but
He'd fit right in. They'd never question it.
checking the text, and we do have Black Hole, which is a Jets of Time edition tech that gives Magus kind of an AoE around him spell that does more damage if party members are downed.
Yep. It does non-elemental damage as well, which is great because everything will take non-elemental damage unless it's programmed to not be taking damage for some reason. So that will pierce everything it can hit.
We are coming down here to the Son of Sun spot. This is a quick fight and key item. So as far as like time investment goes, probably the fastest check we have access to by far.
Yeah. of course, with the boss being Dalton, that might not be true. We'll see what Fitz does. Dalton is one of the more notorious bosses, if not the most notorious boss in this randomizer for sure. Literally everything you do to him will incur a counterattack, and his normal cycle is also pretty fast and starts to feel pretty bad. He starts out with these couple of weak orbs, but the next 3 attacks are going to hit harder and harder. But this party also has a lot of healing. We are looking at like 6,500 HP here. I think it's the beefiest boss spot outside of a go mode.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Wow. Whether we can get through, or whether Fitz can get through this or not, which it looks like they're doing pretty solid damage with those leap slashes when the HP value is good.
Yeah.
Especially.
Doing a good job watching, see, he's so fast. Probably gonna down somebody. But Fitz has been doing a great job of watching Dalton's rotation, doing attacks that will bring Iron Orb down on the party instead of an elemental attack. Actually, fun factoid is that in vanilla Chrono Trigger, Dalton is fought without Chrono in your party. You don't have access to him, so he normally counters any elemental magic with the opposite element, but if you hit him with lightning, he will just use Iron Orb.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's because you don't have access to Chrono, and Shock is Robo's final tech. So, like, if you're playing vanilla for the first time, probably you don't have that yet. You know, I see...
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that you could get it, but, like, you'd have to be really pushing it.
I think you're right. And that would be before you got Magus, right?
Yeah.
Right before. Yeah.
Right before.
Clever.
Right, we're through.
Wow.
But yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah, Dalton can be a rough one, but that was excellent handling of, you know, maybe not the party you would normally choose to fight Dalton, but get through it.
Ooh, a gold stud for our trouble.
Ooh, that gold stud will be real nice. Robo's ribbon. Okay. So that's, I mean, the Robo's ribbon isn't progress. That is basically a dead check, but we have Robo, and it's a really good accessory for Robo. It gives him, like, +3 speed, it gives him the magic defense, and it also gives him barrier, I think. And it does have a damage boosting effect too, so wherever Fitz decides to go next, which may be Geno Dome, maybe RS Dome, maybe
That was gonna...
Factory.
Yeah, I was gonna say Geno would surprise me, but it wouldn't be impossible.
You could. No, I mean,
There's a
Robo
speed...
just got the ribbon, so that shock could probably blow everything away.
Yeah. And there's a speed tab in there for your trouble. Yeah. But I think this is a good play. My brain would have been deciding, do I gamble on this dome? Or do I gamble, or do I just go do factory so my frogs can get stronger?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would have made the same call. I would have at least checked here.
Yeah.
But it's one of those decisions, you know, once you make, like, you keep making that call, let's look a little farther, and then it's like, at what point do you look back and go, I need magic?
Mm-hmm.
And it's different for every run, and it's different for every person.
Yep. It's tough. Especially, like, without, you know, these frogs are capped without anything that they can put in with Robo. or each other, assuming that the duplicate dual techs are turned on, which I would hope. They're so much fun. Two frogs can, in Jets of Time, combine Water 2 into a Hexagon Mist.
Big dodgeball hit on Marl Frog.
Yeah. But otherwise, nice job. I mean, so Golem, well, canonically, golems are Dalton's pets, so they act a lot like he does. They don't counterattack, but whatever you hit them with last is what they're going to attack you with. And with only physical damage, so the trick to controlling the golems and getting them to not hurt you very badly is to control their cycles by using multiple damage types, because every time you use a new one, his AI script resets. And there are a couple elements, and physical's not too bad, where on the first attack he'll do something a lot less painful, but then the second attack will hurt. So with Fitz using physical there, he didn't really have a chance to juggle the damage type, and honestly that like fireball attack hurts a lot, so losing a character is not unusual if you're going to use a strategy like that, but that was very well pulled off.
Of course, grab the sealed door in here as well.
Yeah, this has
And hope it opens.
This has really good chances for good treasure in it. Load vest +3 prism specs. Demon hit.
Ooh, those last two are great.
Demon hit's good for Frog. Prism specs is a 50% boost to all damage that character does. Healing counts too.
Now, I know Demon Hit is good for Frog. Lord Vatsy, please remind me, do we have any frogs?
Gosh, we might have one or like two, but I'm not sure. Do we have any frogs? What are those boingy things behind the robot?
So this dungeon, we run through this left side, or we ran through the left side. Now we went and activated the computer on the right side here, and now we get to go back, and Doan will give us our reward for all of that work. And we sure would love for it to say Hero's Medal into Gate Key or Gate Key.
Yes.
Hey, a demon's head or demon head.
We would also love to be able to visit Ozzy after all of this. And we are still just a bit over $200 away from that $2,000 milestone to visit Ozzy's fort at the end of this run. We do have just this run to meet that incentive. So if you are able to help us, any donation you are able to give will go towards meeting that $2,000 milestone. We're just over $200. I know we can make it there by the time that this run is over, so that we can all go pay Ozzy a visit at the end of this run.
Alright, and having picked up the Moonstone at Aris Dome, which we can't turn in
Oh
because
no.
there's no access to prehistory, we're heading over to Genodome.
Genodome is one of those dungeons that, you know, when you get good at it and you've got a strong party that's got strong AoEs, you can make it through it pretty well. But you always kind of hope it doesn't come to that. Now, we also have the option we could go through Factory to End of Time. That would also give us Mount Woe.
Yep.
Those are kind of equally dreaded places, but Geno is probably a little faster done well.
Yeah, there's so much variance between them, but it kind of depends. For me, it kind of depends, because like Woe, you need to be a lot faster to do efficiently. Which, granted, if Fitz has to go there after this, that's not going to be a problem. That Robo is maxed out. But the enemies in Genodome aren't quite as fast. They don't get the like first pull on you the way those guardrails do on Mount Woe. Woe is really fast if you ignore the treasure, but there's good treasure up there, so it's like, how's your gear? You know, if you're lacking on gear, you don't necessarily want to ignore the treasure. Geno can be done, I don't know, fairly efficiently, but it can never be done as quickly as, you know, RS Dome or Denatoro Mountains.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't hate going to Genodome, but I don't love the seed that I have to.
Yeah. The benefit of Genodome, the big drawback is this conveyor belt sequence. You can't skip it. So even if you're really, really efficient at the inside, you have to do this part. But the experience and tech points in here are great. Like, if you do Genodome, you'll come out ripped. So sometimes if I get to the future and I don't really know what's where, but I have something that'll nuke the whole screen, I'll just do it, because at least I'm getting, you know, a speed tab and probably going to be almost strong enough for the final boss, if not just strong enough.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting dungeon in that the enemies in the dungeon require one set of skills, which is the, you know, that heavy hitting AoE, because the stuff inside is tankier than the stuff you're fighting here on the conveyor. But also, when you're not playing boss randomizer, you needed good single target damage for that mother brain fight as well.
Yeah, that's true.
We kind of don't know what we need for the boss here until we go here, so we kind of have to kind of base off of the enemies we know we have to fight, these debuggists, and like I said, they're pretty beefy inside.
Yeah, there's also laser guards in here, which are, you know, laser guards are tricky because they'll start attacking you and each other fairly quickly, but if you've got basically any AoE and you hit them first, you'll blow them away, and they're worth quite a bit of experience and checkpoints.
I see a setup happening here.
Yeah, we're gonna see if this is gonna attempt the conveyor belt skip or...
Shock is very nice for the enemies in here. They all take really good damage.
Doing its work.
Both frogs so proud.
Yes. Yes, a lot of the enemies in here have 1,024 hit points because, of course, you know, theirs is in binary.
I have a throwback to an earlier question we asked.
Sure.
We have a $10 donation from Mian. It's for the ultimate jerky question. I feel like it's got to taste like incomprehensibly meaty, as though it was never dried, just a delicious steak, but somehow jerky.
That would be good. That would be like perfect.
That sounds amazing. And thank you. That issue puts us just less than $5 away from $1,800, which is already just almost $200 away from that $2,000 milestone. And we are moving through this seed, y'all. We do not have that much time to help beat that milestone and add on Ozzy's Fort to the end of this amazing Chrono Trigger Jets of Time run.
Wow, Fitz hitting both of those locks in one go. That was majestic. And now setting up for the conveyor belt skip.
Yep.
This is incredibly precise and tight. So if they hit it, it's got a very narrow window for failure on it. So this whole dungeon is built around kind of going through in order to get to the other side here and flip this conveyor. And Fitz, just barely so close on that attempt. Probably gonna attempt another time.
Yeah, so this conveyor belt skip, we do have a tutorial video on this for anyone interested in learning it, but it is very precise. You have something like 6 or 7 frames to jump into the door at the end, and if you clip the wall in any sense, you're not going to make it. But that said, I do want to say that even if you can't do it, you can do the interior of Gedo Dome pretty efficiently, so don't be scared of it.
Yeah, and it's always worth trying a couple times. If you do get to a point where you can get it, and I miss it. Like, it'll take me 4 or 5 tries sometimes when I'm just not feeling it that day. But like you said, you can get through this pretty quick, and then we can flip the conveyor and get that unlocked. And then the rest of this dungeon won't be long at all.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, a conveyor skip saves, I think, about a minute, but that's if you get it on your first try. Now, interestingly, when you come out this door, if you go to the left first, you can avoid this robot joining the fight. But Fitz has already cleaned up a couple of these guys, and I didn't look at what they were dropping. There could be some good loot on them, and if not, it's still extra experience points.
Now we can get that switched over.
Yep.
So there are still a lot of different items that this dungeon could reward with. We know that it's going to end up leading. You know, there is going to be a way to get gate key and to get everything. But will it be gate key next, or will it be a fetch quest item like Thomas Pop?
Ooh,
Rainbow arm
that's
pole as well.
fantastic. Wow. So that is the rainbow effect from Chrono's rainbow sword shuffled onto an arm for Robo. And hey, we have Robo. So with Gear Rando on, the final weapon effects can all get shuffled around, but those who don't have an effect, like Chrono Frog, they just have power. That's what the rainbow effect is. It means it's gonna hit really freaking hard. Beautiful, skipping the robot through the wall.
Yes, and then the excellent not getting the robot stuck against the wall at the top corner.
Yep.
That robot is not smart.
No, he's the worst, and like nobody likes him, and yeah. No. But yeah, luckily getting him to clip through the center portion is not as hard as you'd think. That trick is pretty easy.
I'm hoping for Heroes Medal so we can finally get some progress.
Yeah, that yeah, I would love some progress too. That rainbow arm also has a power seal effect baked into it, so it's like a free power accessory that you don't have to take off your other accessory for.
That's pretty good.
That's really nice. I mean, after all this, like, Luca gear, there's only, like, one more chance for there to be a Luca.
And these are those laser enemies you were talking about that are pretty fast. Is their biggest problem with them? That they're pretty fast and they like to shoot each other, like you said. So we just got to be careful and make sure. But I don't think Fitz is going to be in any danger here before the boss.
He's very fast.
Very fast with good stats.
Yup. And yeah, when they shoot each other, they explode, and if there's a lot of them, it can get really nasty. But honestly, with laser guards, and you find them here, and there's a couple in Black Omen. There might be a few elsewhere, I don't remember, but they are just fast. Pretty much any AoE will clear them, including like a standard laser spin, which is pretty weak, but I'm pretty sure laser spin will still do it.
Getting our team, or getting Fitz's team ready. And what is controlling this factory?
Ooh,
It's the Mud Imp.
Okay, we got a blade toss.
Oh.
Maybe Mudim's the one that is weak to magic. I feel like Mudim is an actually pretty decent addition to our boss rando because multi-part bosses are basically harder to shuffle, and this one is 3 parts.
So the way Mud Imp works is once you've killed an imp, or one or both imps, then Mud Imp becomes susceptible to physical, but he's always susceptible to magic.
That's right, yeah. So
I ran into him in Dragon Tank one day without magic, and it was a I lost a 1 dungeon lead in this race. So
yeah.
I'm very familiar with how Mud Imp works now.
Yeah, no, he's very interesting because, like, magically he goes down pretty quickly, and possibly we should buff him a little bit. But then if you don't have, like, the one thing you need to clear the fight, it is terrible. So it's something we should probably look at.
But I can tell you from that seed that if you do kill at least one or both of the Mud Imps, you can hit physical on the main one, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. All right, we have the gate key. We're in go mode. We are good.
We are in go mode, which means that we do still have just a tad over $200 left on that milestone. How long do you think this go mode is going to take, Batsy?
I would say 45 minutes tops, and Fitz is very good, so it could be quicker. It could be 35, somewhere in there probably.
That is not all the time in the world, chat. We can still do this. We can still visit Ozzy. We do have to reach that incentive by the end of the run, though, and we have just entered go mode, so we do not have that much time left.
Everybody send, like, if you can send like $5, tell us what the ultimate jerky tastes like. Or make a really stupid frog joke. That's good too.
Yes.
And again, all of these donations are going to support Blue Path Service Dogs, a charity that provides service animals to autistic individuals. Multithon focuses on co-op runs, races, and games with multiple protagonists or helper characters, or frogs, led by the belief that we are better and faster together. And we are better and faster together, and together we can meet that incentive, and together we can go visit Ozzy at the end of this run.
Here's the other benefit of finding that gate key is we finally get to come see Specchio, and the frogs can learn other spell or
Yep.
other texts.
They're no longer capped at 3 texts. Yeah, Specchio is very particular about the walls. Is everybody thinking magic? You have to think magic.
One of you isn't thinking magic, and it's not working. There it goes. See, Fitz could feel the lack of magic.
Water 2 coming.
Water 2 is very nice.
Heal is great. Robo possibly also has his full party heal, and he's very fast, but also at this point this Robo's going to be hitting like, you know, a literal tank. And maybe is not who we want on healing duty. I'm like really excited to see how much he's punching for in a minute here.
Yeah, depending what bosses we run into, they may not stick around very long.
Are we dropping the moonstone? Alright, Fitz is gonna drop off the moonstone. This is gonna give us a couple more minutes. So everybody use it well.
We are still wondering what you think the legendary jerky tastes like, because we don't know. We have ideas, but we want to hear your ideas. And if you donate your ideas and leave a comment saying what you think the incredible jerky tastes like, we'll have a discussion about it, and I'll be happy to read your thoughts here as we are closing out this Chrono Trigger Jets of Time run and still pushing towards that $2,000 milestone to add Ozzy's fort to the end of the run.
We could even end up going through the Black Omen.
We could, depending on what is behind this item. Okay, stopping at the forest ruins to pick it
Well,
out.
we gotta see. We gotta see what's at the pyramid.
Left or right? Fitz is asking left or right. What do you... Gosh. I'll say left.
Yeah, left is right.
Yeah, that's right.
And we find a flash mail for our trouble.
Not that cool. But the sealed boxes aren't always great. They do have a chance of being great. They also have a chance of being, like, middling.
Speaking of a chance of being great, let's see what we get from Melchior. What could Fitz finishing trial earlier have been the perfect play?
Alright. Oh, and it's a sword piece.
Well, we wanted another go mode piece.
It's true. We got one. We still need the frog character, which should be a dactyl nest, because we know where everybody else is. And the other piece of the sword to go to Magus's castle. Alright, let's see where we're going. See, this is Ozzy's fort. Fitz is showing it off from the air. Really nice view from up here. That's Magus's castle over to the left, but this one's like nice and pint-sized.
We can still visit it, and you can get a much closer view if we're able to reach that $2,000 milestone by the end of this run, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The inside's stunning. Gonna get us some sealed chest action. Get ourselves a couple demon hits potentially.
Just a couple more. There might be more frogs, we don't know, so. I recall that the flags were such that 3 character slots were required to be frog, which does not necessarily mean the others can't be frog. This new will give you a rock. Silver rock plus. Okay. That's Robo, Frog, and Ayla, I think.
Running up Dactyl Nest. Now, Dactyl Nest has a couple really tight skips with a couple setups, but it's still pretty, like, it's real precise. We'll see how Fitz does on those a little bit higher up this cliff face. But I always thought the little mini dungeon was really fun.
Yeah, this is a really fun little area, and yeah, the skips are amazing if you can pull them off.
Fancy chest skips. The trickiest thing in the game.
Oh, I always get that.
Oh!
Nice, that was beautiful.
No setup!
Oh. I always just go to that chest, because if you run straight into it, you'll avoid the enemies, and then you can run straight up, but it's probably better this way.
Oh, that was so close.
Ooh. Ah, really? I thought that was
It's hard with Robo.
Yeah.
It's hard to visualize it.
Alright.
I can do it pretty good with the, like,
Hey,
Marl Ayla. There's
Frog.
Frog!
Is Frog! So we have 4 frogs. Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh, I was gonna say, if you switch Robo out of your party for one of the other frogs, you would have had all 4 of them for just a second. We could also go to End of Time and meet all the frogs.
Water 2 leaf slash frog.
Here too. And Vanilla Frog is like the frog everyone hopes for in a regular seed. Of course, with the tech damage rando, that's all up in the air. But typically, those are some pretty nice techs. Maybe heal instead of cure 2. But
I was gonna say heal instead of cure 2 is exactly like perfect frog, and I wouldn't even go unlock magic, I don't think.
absolutely. Not just for him anyway.
Yeah.
Mhm. I think that with Jets of Time, sometimes people will ask, like, well, which characters are better to use? And, like, I think some characters are sort of statistically more likely to be better than others. But in the end, you just gotta check what they've rolled. Like, how's the tech order? Does that feel like something you want to take a chance on, and do they need to unlock magic? You know, it's not like, is this character good? Just, do you feel good about this iteration of them?
Lately, I've been a lot more willing to use somebody that I know is not staying in my party to do one dungeon. Like, the other day, I knew I wasn't using Robo, but Robo had Shock, or Laser Spin, and I knew I could get through Hecarim Cave with it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
exactly.
okay, I can keep him for one dungeon, and then Ayla can have all the rest of the XP.
I have an important thing that I wanted to share with everyone. We have a $10 donation from Hatsune Miku, who says, the ultimate jerky cannot be contained within a flavor described by human language. It transcends humanity, much like the concept of God, and is not to be trifled with. Do not try to understand it. It will destroy you from within.
Oh. Do not taunt
Wiser
Happy
words
Sunball.
were never spoken.
Okay.
With those incredibly strong words, we have crossed $1,800 raised for Blue
Yay!
Path service dogs. And we are less than $200 away from that $2,000 milestone by the end of this run to visit Ozzy's fortress and throw Ozzy in a hole.
Oh my god, thank you, Hatsune Miku.
Thank you,
Yes.
Hatsune Miku.
I love your guitar pedal. While all that was happening, Fitz is nailing these skips in this dungeon where every room looks the same. They're all pretty tough little skips, and Fitz just casually just sprinting through all of it.
Yeah, Tyrannosaur is definitely... hello, Flea.
Oh.
You have to be looking at, you know, a lot of weird spots on the ground. You know, like, find whatever pattern your brain will make sense of. And then make sure you're standing on the right row. Okay, this should hit pretty darn hard. That's pretty good.
Alright, Sleepy Frog count just went up 1.
So what is everybody's favorite frog in this seed? You know, like, not necessarily based on their text, but like, you know, which one do you like to look at most? Do you like, you know, our like Robo Frog down here? We've got Vanilla Frog, of course. We have like Ancient Sorcerer Frog, and then like I think I have to pick the Vaporwave Marl Frog with all the pastel colors.
Yeah, there's a lot of good options. Because what about like the frog king and Cyrus and frog fight?
Oh man. Someday we're gonna figure out how to like implement him, and it's gonna be a glorious day.
Isn't that one of those characters where like it feels like maybe they were gonna come up again?
Yeah, I mean, he got like a bunch of sprite storage space, which is not in like abundance on a Chrono Trigger cartridge.
Oh, we got Tyranno. Big beefy boss at the end of Tyranno Lair. And that will signal the first dungeon down of this particular go mode, and then we will head through the Ocean Palace to go fight a big eldritch tick. As Zavala goes down, and the team is not taking much damage from a lot of these things.
No, that's a good sign so far, for sure. And that's great damage. Black Tyranno, he's gonna do his countdown, and then of course, if he finishes, we'll hit the party with some nasty elemental damage. We don't necessarily know what element, but Fitz is doing so much damage that it's over, and we are good.
We will never get to know.
I want to take a moment to remind everyone that in addition to helping us reach that $2,000 milestone, we are running a sweepstakes this week. By donating, you are automatically entered in for the chance to win a stream key for one of the amazing games featured this week: Ricky and Vicky, UFO 50, Just Crow Things, Neva, and our sponsor game, Beastie Ball. If you're interested in learning more, you can find out more information in the Multithon Discord. But again, any donation you're able to give right now will help us not only reach that $2,000 milestone for Aussies 4, but also allow you to get in the running to win a stream key for one of the amazing games that we have over the course of Multithon.
I'm guessing we're stocking
Whoa!
up
Oh!
on...
Whoa! Okay.
Absolutely.
I have an important update.
Oh,
We have a $200 donation from Chrono's cat. With the comment, well, the comment is simply meow.
oh my God, Kitty coming in clutch.
Kitty coming in clutch, and with that, we have crossed $2,000 raised for Blue Path Service Dogs. And yes, because of that generous and all of your generous donations, we are going to be visiting Aussies 4.
Here we go, guys. Here we go.
For those who missed it, as soon as that donation came in, Fitz immediately went and pet that good cat.
Such a good cat. Everyone, please. Much love to Chrono's cat. Thank you for the generous donation. And please, if you have a cat nearby, give that cat a pet. In appreciation for not just Chrono's cat, but for all the wonderful cats that we will be petting throughout this week.
Aw, yeah. I won't wake her up.
All right, we get a mutant. So we get a couple bosses in here. So we're gonna get a mega mutant, which is a mutant we don't get to see all that often until Boss Rando.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get to see him often now. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Thanks for water too.
I get to see him just like run away up the stairs, torso only. All right, now we get this great fun.
I told you this place was good looking inside.
Ozzy's gonna bring up these goblins and make us. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Ozzy's in a pickle.
I just need a shirt that says Ozzy's in a pickle.
Same.
No other context, no sprite, maybe a silhouette of Ozzy in the background, but
Yeah,
nothing
just-
else.
Perfect.
Oh, here's Nizbal too.
Indeed. Freefitz. I'm wearing a shirt with Ozzy grilling a pickle, which I appreciate the shout out. That's one of our Camp Specchio shirts. It has Ozzy roasting a pickle on a campfire.
Amazing. All right. The guillotine room.
Mm-hmm. Come on, sweethearts.
Faking us out. Fitz runs past the chest.
Probably filled with goodies. Oops. Yikes. Oh no. Oh, rip that guy.
That could have been so much worse.
Yes. Magic tab in the corner here. Some treasure. In vanilla, that's where Magus's best equipment is stashed.
That's the other reason that Kid Crab always thought that this was Magus's castle that you were returning to at the end. And then Ozzy had just taken it over and was like, oh, he didn't know about the secret room.
Oh, poorly.
This fight can be a little bit tough sometimes. You've got to kind of do single target damage and take the counterattacks from Slash. But once you get rid of Slash, this fight goes down easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you hit, it might just be if you include Ozzy in any hits with the other two up, they'll counterattack with Delta Force, and it hits really hard. Ozzy does not do much by himself, though.
We stomp through Ozzy's big HP pool. He can't get away from us this time, I hope.
There we go.
Oh, well. Well, he got away from us this time.
We just gotta follow him.
I don't know if we'll ever get him.
Uh-oh, now he's got his shield on. Okay. Oh, okay, we can hit the button. Wrong lever! But luckily, since this is kind of like the mini version of Magus's castle, this doesn't throw us into like the basement or an oubliette or something, just downstairs.
Yeah, I'm more so just confused about the physics of it.
What's this?
Oh. That ought to do it.
Not that switch.
Yes.
Yay!
We took him out.
Ozzy has been dropped into. I mean, why he doesn't just fall down to the next floor, I don't know. But maybe it's just when the hole is in the middle of the room, and we probably don't have the entire floor plan.
So having finished off Ozzy and his pickle of a situation, we can run to go take care of Lavos.
And again, thank you all so much for helping raise $2,000 for Blue Path Service Dogs to help us find Ozzy in a pickle and enjoy that really, really fun trip through Ozzy's fort.
It's truly not to be missed.
As we run up these skyways to the most interesting lore-filled area of the game,
Mhm.
but also the area of the game that makes you read the lore the least. You can run past all of it and not make any sense of what's happening. But it's so worth the time. And we're going to be able to check out a couple really good tier shops here, as well as grab another speed tab.
Mhm. It's not too much on offer in this new shop, but the gear that we've picked up is pretty good already. Load rest +3 is pretty good.
That speed on it.
Mhm.
One of those armors too. A lot of money.
Mhm.
And this is really kind of our last chance to spend a lot of it.
Yeah, indeed. Those mid-ethers aren't that great. They're better than the regular ones though, so a stack of them could come in handy. Don't forget the speed tag.
He doesn't need it.
It's true. It's true. This party is like obscenely fast. There's been a lot of extra speed tabs. Ozzy was dropping them on Xenon Bridge.
Xenon Bridge has a habit to drop either like some of the greatest items ever, especially if its key item isn't good. Like if you
Yeah.
may not need its key item, it'll be like, oh, that's the seed, it's dropping prism specs, and you get 2 pairs of them.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, with Ozzy there, he's technically part of the fights. He is on the boss loot table, so he's got all the good stuff.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And is it the same loot as another version of Ozzy then?
I think there is some crossover. Not the Ozzy's Fort ones, but I think the Magus' Castle ones.
Okay.
It may not always be, but I think there's been crossover.
Here's Ret Knight, who is not Zombor for some reason.
Nope.
Hopefully we can take care of him pretty good.
Yeah, we've got good physical damage. Didn't recall if running one of the frogs with water too on it, but even without water, I think this can be handled. This party's packing a punch at this point.
Another clean finish there.
Nova Armor -1, so it does have a minus on it. Nova Armor usually has status protection, and status protection with Lavos is a good idea.
So this will bring us down into the Ocean Palace. Couple notable things about the Ocean Palace. It has one of the best, or probably the best grind spot in the game. along the way, so I don't think we're going to need much grinding unless there's parts of our gear that are suboptimal, but I think we're in a pretty good spot. But if we did need to grind, there's a really nice spot to do that here. It's also pretty quick once you kind of know how to run through it, but a couple of the fights kind of are going to decide how long it takes too.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
elevator can feel like it takes a long time if your team's not ready for it. I always think this is a dungeon that, like, when you learn a really nice route through it, it's like really satisfying to run through.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's so confusing at first. That middle room goes everywhere. But once you know the way.
Oh, and it makes you think that you've got to go to both sides, and then you learn that you just need to go to one side.
Just this one's fine.
Ooh,
Nice
almost got
one.
it. That was scary. Scary, but probably planned.
Yes, this is the grind fight.
Yeah, and this whole section has a series of fights that are just such good rewards on them that you would kind of end up getting them all anyway. So even if you don't set out to grind, you're going to end up getting some levels on the way down through here.
Yeah, for sure. I would say for anyone learning the game, to kind of learn, and you don't necessarily need to know the literal exact values, but to learn about how much experience you're gonna get and how many tech points you're gonna get running through Ocean Palace, because you can kind of plan ahead. If a tech that you really need is gonna come along before you hit any of the bosses or anything, but maybe would have hit after the grind spot. You don't necessarily need to stop if you've got the levels. It can be pretty useful.
That was fancy footwork.
Yeah. He was leaving the frogs in the dust.
That's the power of frogs hopping through a crowd.
Dropping elixirs, which is nice. You don't need that many of those to be pretty set for the final battle.
Yeah, they're just so handy for that moment where you go, oh, I'd really like to heal mana and health.
Yeah, or just like, I don't have to think about it, I'm just gonna click it. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be deciding between the two, and then I'll scroll down and be like, oh, wait, I have an elixir.
Alright, here's the notorious elevator. As we saw, that first fight, before you start moving, that one you actually can run away from. And then we'll probably be wiping the first couple of fights here with Shock, except for this Barghest, who always needs Zerk Jin. The Barghest is the other one. He has to drop his shield first. If you have Fire Whirl with Luca and Ayla, you can cut through it.
I feel like there's a weird interaction with dark matter sometimes, too. And I don't know why. I need to investigate it. I just know on the one upstairs, if I hit dark matter hard enough, sometimes they'll both go down from it. And this is the sometimes the toughest part of this, but
Yeah, this is the one we're afraid of. We have a frog prepped for frog squash with I think I saw Fitz put a gold earring on earlier, which effectively doubles maximum HP. So, you know, we all know that's a wonderful trick for anything that requires the difference between maximum and current HP for damage. We're gonna go double frog squash, which is actually great. I mean, normally you wouldn't be able to do that, but healed up a bit too much. You want to get like 200 damage. These guys have really tough defenses. But yeah, often just a gold stud will really help with that damage.
And sometimes it even comes down to having to just auto attack them down or waste some leap slashes, but you've got options to take them down. And
yeah, it doesn't always feel great when you have to do it the slow way, but it'll...
There we go.
Frog squash low rolled. Right.
Ah.
Yeah, that's another tricky thing about the tech damage rando, is that certain things that you count on, like frog squash strats or dino tail if you're using it with Ayla, it may not be the greatest source of damage.
Next up, we get to another fun thing, scouter skips, which are very tricky and they do whatever they want like that.
This skip is really finicky. That was beautiful, and
Yep.
it can
Nailed.
look really easy, but there's several little inputs that have to happen when you hit the guy from the back very quickly. And yeah, sometimes you just get stuck. But
Even hitting one of them's nice.
Yeah, and getting in the first half is pretty easy. You just need to line yourself up like halfway on the blue path, halfway on the brown, so that you'll slide onto the blue path and you will sneak past the scouter on the way in. And that way, at least you've like already hit the button when their animation is playing, and it saves you a little time.
Now we get to one of the biggest tests of the run sometimes, which is this twin fight.
Yep, we've got the penultimate save point here. And the twin boss fight coming up can be any boss. It's not necessarily going to be golem twins. It can be any boss duplicated. Or sometimes a multi-part boss. Well, it looks like we've got vanilla. But
I was gonna say, it was scary when it was twin golems, and I've heard tales of it being potentially scarier after boss rando. And so we're gonna get vanilla twin golems here.
I mean, I think that golems are one of the scarier options.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Before boss rando, I think like when you knew twin golems were gonna be here, it was another part of the run you had to like build your team around. Like, how am I gonna deal with twin golems?
Yeah, for sure.
But boss rando, now you've got to worry about how am I gonna deal with twin flea pluses? How am I gonna deal with? So there's still plenty of scary stuff out there, but of course we got some real scary dodgeballs.
Yeah, these ones hurt. Alright. There's at least one down.
We got a sleepy frog, but he's waking up now.
Yep, this is a very high yield fight, so having everybody up to get this last bit of experience in TP can be pretty important.
Getting some heals off, try to make sure everybody survives the burp to try to get tech points and XP for everybody.
Yep.
And just keep those turns going. Like you said, the speed matters so much.
Yeah, these hits are doing enough damage that's probably gonna do it, but you could, in this case, you could use shock and then hit each of them back into physical and try that as a loop. It's definitely harder with two of them there to keep them from doing anything but Iron Orb.
That is clear, and we now usually will run back to our save point and then immediately run in for this Lavos Gauntlet. We've got 3 phases to get through, each one a little more challenging than the last.
And each in their own way, too.
Yeah, and they all kind of want different things out of you. As we head into Lavos Shell.
And we'll talk about there's like a menu glitch coming up that's used to menu between some of the Lavos fights. And we'll talk about that when we get there, but you can actually do one during this scene as well. If you forgot to like go back and use the save point, it's when the screen goes dark here. It's happened to be like once, but it saved me, so yeah.
I actually didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yep, right there. It's a pretty easy one too, like to get wide frame window. Okay, Lavos number 1.
This is just damage. It's just high HP. Take it down quick because it starts hitting hard in a little bit.
Yep, it's got 12,000 HP, and it pretty much just goes through its aggressive run of moves over and over and over. The one that hurts least in terms of HP is Obstacle, which is going to be coming up next. But depending on your status protection and what obstacle has been randomized to do this seed, it can be really nasty. But I saw some Nova armor, I saw some amulets. Yeah, we're good.
And there goes the tick. Lavos Shell down.
Here we go. Yeah, this damage is pretty good.
Our reward for beating the outside of Lavos instead of losing to it and flying the epoch into it is a save point here.
Mm-hmm. But true, that said, if there's some reason you can't get through the shell, but you think you can get through the other parts, you can let Lavos 1 kill you. It is time consuming, but you can let yourself go down to that fight and the apocalypse will play, and then you can crash the epic into Lavos to skip that phase.
So tell us a little bit about Lavos 2. What's the danger here?
Right, Lavos 2 is, so he starts with arms that do that. So he's got the phase first with his arms, and it looks like we did get their boomerangs off. He opens up with Doors of Doom, which does a lot of damage, and then those sickle attacks, which if you get Fitz recovered from that very, very nicely. Because if you can't get the arms down fast enough, or if you can't endure their attacks, you kind of have to go immediately on the defensive and just heal up and really try to get through those first couple boomerangs, and then try to kill one of the arms as fast as you can, because that will buy you some time.
That was a little scary for a second too,
Yeah.
because I think Fitz finished that second arm a little faster than maybe he expected, and so he had to get that heal in before obstacle went off, because once you take that second arm off, Lavos wants to do that obstacle, and that would have taken out that third character, or that second character again.
The head will wake up after the arms go away. And then it's 10,000 HP race, so before he does his big ouchie attack, Shadow Doom Blaze. I suspect this party would survive it, so I don't think there's that much to worry about right now, but it can really hurt.
And if you can survive it once, you get a long time to finish him before the second one, I think.
Yes, once it goes off, he has a really long pause while he's like powering up or whatever. So as long as you've survived it, you've probably got it. I can't imagine like a situation where you couldn't.
Baba Booey.
Yeah.
There goes Lavos too.
Perfect.
So this is where we get to that menu glitch you were talking about. So again, we're gonna wait for the screen to go completely black. I always kind of compare it to the outside of the emulator window, or the screen there, just because I can kind of match it up there. But yeah, you're looking for that perfect dark black, and then it'll open up, and
Robo's doing the pole dance. Yep. It's right when the screen goes black. I actually do it by sound, because the cutscene is consistent, so the sound is always at the same place when you.
I saw your video about that.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
Actually, I think we both have videos on different methods. So whichever you prefer, it will work.
Yeah, and if you really want to be cool with it, switch characters.
Yeah, you can do that too. Pretty much anytime you can use one of those windows to hit the X button and open up your menu. You can also hit the Y button to get to the end of time menu and swap your lineup.
I'd love to see a time where a team is really good at Lavos 2, and then you switch for a better team for Lavos 3. I think it'd be really interesting. But left bit down immediately with this heavy physical team, and we just immediately start laying 2,300 hits on right bit. This guy's got about 20k health.
Yep.
And that defense will come back up a little while after the bit comes back. But this is unfortunate, but we survived it.
These are kind of advanced strats, because I would say that much of the time you do not want to like sit through a grand stone. And there's a pretty good chance that the center bit leads with that. But with this party setup, I mean, none of them are particularly squishy, especially physically for that one. And with left bit being vulnerable to physical damage, it's gonna go down quicker. Left bit has a lot less HP than the center bit, of course. Just center bit you can hurt with big magic. But so the center bit strats, quote unquote, are typically considered a lot safer. But this is a really good use of left bit strats.
Yeah, this is like exactly. Center bit's generally safer, but this is like the dream team for doing left bit, and the dream scenario of we've got some extra levels, we're here, we've got good gear. This is going to be a strong finish.
Yeah. I suppose that if we get to a point with only center and right bit up again, I think the frogs could do well, we call it flexagon miss. And it's really fun to see those techs. But
We're coming up on the end here
yes,
pretty shortly too. I just want to give a little warning. See, I like this. This is twice as much frog as I usually get to see in my runs. And one extra robo.
Character rando is pretty fun. And you know, if you use it by itself rather, and not with like a bunch of the other stuff that really makes things harder. Yeah, do it.
Lexagon missed.
The people thank you. Here we go, guys. This is like a really special to see. Look at him flexing. So strong.
And it's the finish. That's time.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Amazing.
What a strong finish. Flexagon missed is of course our dual tech that was added for character rando, so that when you get 2 frogs, you've got a reason to smile.
Yep. Every in-character rando, every duplicate, I think except Megas, but he doesn't have dual techs anyway. Every duplicate gets something.
GG to Fitz. That was a good run.
That was a fun time.
What was your favorite part of that run?
There were a couple of, I didn't get many, but there were definitely a couple of 9-digit leap slashes that were doing big damage numbers.
Yeah.
And just
those were lovely.
That we did find not only all of the donated frogs, but then we had like an extra frog. And mostly robos too. Like that was pretty fun. Like
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Robo was like the mascot.
And yeah, Robo was in beast mode.
Yeah.
Like I got to show off a lot of stuff. Like I didn't necessarily, I couldn't get the conveyor belt. I just rubbed a couple of times on a wall, and it was like, well, there it went. Because it's very...
Yeah, the nub on the conveyor should not have done what it did to you. I saw it, and I knew, and it was just like, oh, that's so unfortunate.
Very tight.
But I think overall, like, these set of flags, like, they are a lot to just, like, list, and they can be very unfriendly. I think this one was decently favorable and some pretty good high MP values, and then just having the Crisis Mune right away. It took me a little bit to get it going.
Yeah, for sure.
Shows that like I think I enjoy the tech damage rando because it's a lot more like building something on the fly than like, oh, I have these characters, I know if I unlock magic they'll get this stuff eventually that will be the best, with just kind of shuffling those values around. I don't know, in this case when it was like big sleep / crisis, you're good to go. And then we had a pretty good Uzi punch and found the rainbow arm. That might have been my favorite. It was like rainbow arm.
That was great.
That second frog you got was really nice too, because his tech list was great.
Yeah. The colors on the frogs were great. I think I also was digging the like marl frog colors overall. But I also liked the robo. The Ayla robo is also pretty good. So. And then I like to show off Ozzy's fort there as well. Yeah. Definitely appreciate getting to be able to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for your donations and generosity and helping us reach that milestone. Fitz, where can people find you if they want to see more adventures through time?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, mostly main place would be on my Twitch. I'm onefreefitz on that. Certainly if you pop in the Jets of Time Discord, I'm pretty active in there, and I'm always opening up races and whatnot. So those will be the main places. I will be. I have a couple host shifts tomorrow, so I didn't really talk too much today. But if you want to hear me more, that'll be an opportunity as well. I'm excited about that. But yeah, it was a pretty good run. I think I was within my estimate, and I had a very fun time playing. So hopefully, it was a good watch.
Absolutely.
It sure was.
It was a absolutely phenomenal watch. Acid Crab, Lord Batsy, where can people find you if they want to hear more?
You can find my Twitch at Lord Batsy, just how it's spelled in the chat and stuff. I don't stream that often. I am around the Jets of Time Discord. I can plug our website, right?
Of course, yeah.
If you wanna learn how to play this randomizer, it's a lot of fun. I think it's pretty accessible at first. Like, you know, going very fast always takes some polishing, but it's not too hard to learn. You can visit us at ctjot.com, which is, of course, Chrono Trigger Jets of Time, CTJOT. And that should have links to everything, including Discord and Wiki, and you can make seeds. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just point you to the Jets of Time Twitch, because I think there's going to be some more stuff hopefully going up on there, and that's going to be the best place to catch me going forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so incredibly much for that amazing run and awesome comms and just an absolute treat of a run of Chrono Trigger Jets of Time. Y'all, I don't know about you. I need a break. I need to take a minute to recollect myself and collect myself and process all of the frogs that I just witnessed and that we all
Frog
shared.
is going berserk.
What is that? I don't know where this is going, y'all.
Oh.
But don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more.